Hey, hello, hi. So Guardians 3, I watched last night and I put up a quick like 3-minute review last night. And I wanted to do like a longer review that kind of just gives more of my overall like thoughts on the movie. Spoilers ahead, obviously for it. It just if you didn't already watch a 3-minute review thing, go watch that. But my overall like thoughts from that was just it was very disappointing. It did not feel at all tonally or in any way like the first two Guardians movies. But for the first two Guardians movies up until like Infinity War, they all feel the same, like the same consistent characters, the same type of tone, the same type of movie, the same evolution. This like post Endgame movie was it was very different tonally and everything, and I think it definitely it definitely ruined Gamora's character. I think it damaged Quill's character, and I'd say Mantis's as well. Gamora first, because she was the most obviously messed up. Was this is supposed to be the Gamora from Endgame, which this is the Gamora that's like days away from the Gamora we see in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. A very moral person, a very let's do the right thing for the sake of doing the right thing type of person. Let's make sure this Power Stone is as far away from Ronan as possible, as far away from the Ravagers. Like, do the moral, do the right thing. That's the exact opposite of this Gamora in this movie, who's just stupid and angry and kind of almost a cartoon character in a way that just like I don't it was bizarre. I don't know how to comprehend why that choice was made, or I don't get it. It just I don't understand why they did that. Quill in this movie, he's not like we get little pieces and bits of the Quill from, Infinity War, Guardians 1, Guardians 2, and from basically anything else he's been in. But he's just so everything's so dour, everything's so gloomy. And that's, fine for certain movies, but that's not how Guardians was. Like if someone goes and watches Guardians 1, then Guardians 2, and then Guardians 3, like in a row, binge a marathon, they're gonna be like, what? Because it's so tonally and thematically just off. It's so dour and gloomy and stuff, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing for a movie in any way. But when you're having this trilogy of movies, they should be at least in some way consistent or a natural type of evolution. And yeah, I get this is, post Endgame, but still, Quill isn't Quill in any way, and that's fine. Characters can be dynamic and change over time, obviously. This just seems like a step too far. Um, Mantis has always been Mantis in Guardians 2 and Infinity Wars. Mantis and Drax are both stupid, which is just like a thing that they are. But I feel like it was just played up in this movie, like how stupid they are. Like I don't know. This movie felt like it had a lot more jokes in it than 1 and 2. But maybe I'm thinking that might be because 1 and 2, the jokes for me landed and made me smile and think, "Hey, yeah, this is I'm having a good time." The jokes for this was like, "Oh, there's that. That's just there's that. Oh, another one, another one." So maybe there could be the same amount in 1 and 2 as in this movie, but perhaps it's that I feel like there are so many more in this movie because they didn't land, whereas in 1 and 2 they did. Or maybe it's just that this one is like has so many. It's not like obviously not as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder. Not it's nothing. This is a movie, whereas everything else in Phase 4 outside of Spider-Man Sony, everything else has been absolute garbage. Like you can't even call them movies; they're just disasters. This was a movie, and I think it was a bad movie from the perspective of it being an actual movie, though, because there's two tier lists here, basically. There's the garbage tier list, which is what everything from Marvel has been. And then there's the actual take this seriously movie tier list, which is where this is. So this, even at the bottom of that tier list, is worlds above of the garbage Marvel tier list, okay? So what I'm saying is this is an actual movie. It's far better than the other Marvel garbage Disney stuff. But I don't think it's a good Guardians movie. I think you could make an argument to say that it is a decent movie as itself, But as a Guardians movie, as the third Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a bad movie that is not, I don't feel, to be a natural continuation of the characters. And it's got a lot of bizarre choices in it, namely what they did with Adam Warlock, which is I can't. It was very bizarre the way they did like handle the Sovereign in this. It did not make much of any sense at all. It did not. This movie could have just been so much better. I feel like you should have opened this movie with. First of all, I feel as though the antagonist for this movie, he was good. Like he was, good. He was a complex. He was a good antagonist villain. This should have been two movies. This should have been Guardians 3, which is the Adam Warlock and Sovereign as the threat movie, with this guy as the underlying, like, post-credit scene, end of the movie, whatever, hints that someone higher up is controlling him type of thing. And then you have Guardians 4, which would be this movie, where the primary antagonist is the primary antagonist from this movie we just watched. And then you could have Adam having like join them in that movie. But you needed to have a movie with like just the Sovereign and just like Adam as the main character, as the main like antagonist, for them. So I feel like I feel like it was two movies very clumsily crammed together to make this. It did not make a lot of sense. There were a lot of like that whole thing. There were a lot of plot issues, a lot of other plot issues just throughout the movie, just stuff that did not, inconsistencies that didn't make sense, and that was so like obviously doesn't make sense. Like the big one that several big ones that jump out is like freaking they're guards, and Quill and Nebula and Groot are going to sneak. Groot's design, by the way, is garbage in this movie. It took me out of it the whole time. That was awful. Why didn't they just have him look like he did in Guardians 1? I don't know. But anyway, they have these guards scan Nebula, and they're like, oh, you're a living weapon, you can't come in. They scan Quill, they're like, oh yeah, it's a human, he can come in. They don't scan Groot? We're not like, oh, we're gonna scan you. Oh, this is one of those tree Groot creature thingies. This thing could kill everyone. We're not letting this in. No, they don't just let him in. Nah. Yeah, characters throughout this do a lot of stupid stuff. There's these bizarre series of scenes like in the first act where they go to this like flesh world like science center place, um and like these guard soldiers come in and see them, and I have no idea why they don't like arrest him. Like Quill like talks him out of it, but it's like there's a security camera in the room, and it's like there's no way that they should not have been like arrested or like taken into custody, or at least attempt to like take him into custody. I don't know what was going on there at all. Overall, this movie was really really disappointing. So yeah, I didn't like it. That's the review.